Hi, I'm this week's lucky winner of the swing analysis thanks to Pierce and Andy and Me and My Golf TV, helping you take charge of your game.
Okay, so it's Thursday and it's swing analysis day. Probably one of my favourite days of the week where we get to help one of you guys with your golf swing. And as you've just seen, today we're helping Chris Kong from Waterford, Ireland. Handicap 16 and looking to get down to 10 this year, which is pretty achievable.
I think so.
Looking at his golf swing, pretty good.
Yep.
Now Chris is struggling with an early extension, so he's familiar with the terminology that we use, Pierce. Good. So Charles has been watching our videos, so keep it up there, Chris. Struggling with early extension, some fat shots with his irons, but some slices with his driver. Okay. So let's go ahead and go straight to his down the line view in his golf swing and go through what early extension is. So early extension really is when, in the downswing, Pierce, it's when the lower body is thrusting towards the golf ball. Now Chris only looks, I'm not sure of his age actually, Chris looks about sort of 15. So we see this common in the younger guys and the juniors because generally the strength and the stability.
Strength in the glutes, in the middle of the body, And
we lose that posture and have those hips thrusting. So you'll see here that in the downswing, Chris moves that lower body towards the golf ball and his left leg is sort of bent through impact. And this limits his rotation and causes some issues with the direction and even the fat shots as well. But a really good golf swing, Pierce.
There's some good movements there, aren't there?
Yeah, some very good movements in terms of what the club's doing. So with Chris, I think it's really simple, Pierce. We need to give him a drill. Okay. That's going to help him not only improve his lower body through the ball, just improve that extension, also that early extension, maintain his posture through the ball. So have we got a drill? Very simple today, Chris.
We have indeed. We call it the hip twister.
Hip twister.
Hip twister. I want to call it thunder twister, but Andy's not having it just yet. So I need that alignment stick over there, please. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to pop this through my belt loops. Just grab the driver, Andy. I'm all over the place there. Right, so pop this through here. So through your belt loops. Now you'll notice it's only just showing on the right-hand side, loads of the alignment stick on the left-hand side. Now, from there, I've also got a foam rod in the ground. I've actually put a head cover on top of it because my legs are so long and it wouldn't quite work early when we were just practicing. So the idea of this is when I take my setup, you'll notice it's behind my heels and about a foot towards the target. So behind my heels and about a foot towards the target. Now you haven't got to be totally precise on this. The only thing I will say, the further back you put it, the more you've got to twist your hips.
So you've got about a foot behind you there, Pierce. And the important is also it's the actual foam rod with the head cover on is higher than your hips. It needs to be higher than your hips.
Yes, definitely. So I've had to do that with the head cover on there, definitely. Because as Andy was just saying there, when I get into my normal setup, that shaft, the alignment stick should go slightly higher.
It'll be higher through impact as well, certainly. So it needs to be higher. It needs to be about a foot behind and maybe a foot to the outside your heel as well. So what's the drill?
So the drill is from here, when I hit this golf ball, I want to make sure that the alignment stick hits the rod, hits the head cover before the club head hits the ball. So my hips have got to hit the stick before the club head does.
Okay, perfect. So let's just go through where Chris is at impact. Let's show you where you are, Chris. And again, this will sort of ring home and you'll be able to relate to this. So as we mentioned, there's a lot of early extension to impact.
I'm not sure I can get as good a backswing as Chris. That was just really good.
You can't get as long as him.
No, definitely not. But on the way down, as you said, Andy, the hips sort of move in this direction. So the left knee buckles, as you said, and the hips aren't really rotating, and the pelvis is early extending.
So there's plenty of weight shift, lateral movement towards the target, but as you can see here, that movement towards the golf ball with the hips causes the lack of rotation, and that alignment stick there is getting nowhere near. And that left leg, we can see really that lead leg there is bent still, Pierce. And we'd like to see that lead leg where at impact?
We'd like to see something like this.
Okay, so you can see how the lower body's clearing out the way now. The left leg is more posted up on that side and much more rotation in the hips, and you've kept the pelvis back.
Look at that.
And that should really help with the consistency then of the club face, Pierce. Whenever there's a lot of thrusting this way, it's the club face is doing a lot of work then, isn't it? It can be left open, but it can also turn over quite a lot as well. So it's going to help deliver a much more consistent face through the ball with a lot less rotation.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so in terms of practicing this drill for Chris, we'd start with the setup, maybe go into some just some movements to feel impact first?
Definitely. So from setup here, we literally get people to do this. Get the hips twisting and actually move the stick, and if they feel they can move it back further, then great. we like to get them to hit it hard as well, so get a few where you sort of give it a good whack.
Right.
Really gives you the feeling of getting that left leg straightening, getting the hip opening and clearing, and then maybe do your takeaway and then get the hip. Did I get it?
Yeah,
no.
almost.
Oh, look at that, it's hard work. So you can see from here, getting that hip to turn so I can get the stick to touch when the club is up here. And then from there, hit some shots.
And you can see with what Pierce does there, creating from here that separation in the lower body from upper body is really key in that downswing.
Yeah.
Also for swing playing as well for a lot of other guys.
It just has so many positives. It really does. You know, from accuracy to distance.
Okay, so
and contact, obviously.
Yeah, so it's a great way to do it is that, as we said there, Chris, working from setup to give you the feeling of where impact should be with this straight left leg and the hips being clear, and then move to maybe some softer golf shots to start with.
Definitely. I think the one thing to bear in mind is, Chris, just make sure when you do this, I'll stand face on so you can see this, make sure you don't get the alignment stick to hit the post doing it like that. Because a lot of people, when they do this to start with, they get the hips firing, but that's not a good weight shift. So you need to make sure, as Andy said before, you post into your left leg. So I'm moving and turning.
And all the weight into that left heel now.
Yeah, that left heel's got all the weight in it, and I'm really moving the low body there. Don't want you back here when you're doing it.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Pierce, I think you should put
Have
it
a
to
go
test.
hitting a shot. I'm feeling good.
See if Pierce can hit that cover before he hits that golf ball.
So I'm going to go mini or I'm going to go hard?
Let's go mini. Yeah, just
mini, somewhere in between.
Really get the feeling for us.
So I'm going to really feel my arms soften when I do this.
Let's do a preset first. Let's go impact.
There we go.
That's it.
All right, that gives me the feeling.
So easy swing.
Let's pull the trigger.
Not
sure whether I got it. The shot was perfect though for what I was doing with that distance.
So it's gone dead straight. It's gone about 200 yards-ish.
Yep.
And you've definitely got the rotation and some separation there in that downswing.
Felt brilliant. I really could feel that rotation through that. That was good.
Superb. And the great thing about this is when you're practicing here, Chris, you've got something to tell you instantly when you're hitting shots if you're doing it right or if you're doing it wrong. So it will enhance your awareness about what you're actually doing there.
Definitely.
So great drill for anyone to have a go at, really, if you're struggling with something like getting these hips out the way. Okay, hope that helps there, Chris. Post your comments. Great golf swing there. I think with introducing this drill to your golf game, you're going to certainly see some difference through impacts. Post your comments, guys. Give us a like if you like that video, and we'll see you next time. But also, actually, just before we go, if you want the chance to have your swing analysis with myself and Pierce, then go to the Facebook page or the Twitter and enter the competition. And it could be you on here next week.
We had to say that because obviously you might have thought it was the last one, obviously.
Okay, thanks,
Cheers,
guys. We'll see you soon.
Feeling there, your club will probably still be underplaying.
Key thing when doing this, do that again for me, Pierce. And the really important thing about doing this, guys, is as you start it, as Pierce has got it on the wall now, he's not just pulling his arms down, he's still engaging his lower body. His lower body.